Good day, students, and welcome to Europe Hotel School. My name is Arfan, and I am an instructor for this course.
My name is Jane, and I am a general manager at a hotel chain.
Welcome, everyone, and thanks for joining us today. Our topic is one that every hospitality professional will face sooner or later: how to respond when a guest is angry.
And here's the key insight. The natural instinct for many staff members is to jump straight into fixing the problem. While fast action is important, if we skip over the guest's emotions, we risk making them feel unheard, even if the issue itself is resolved.
Exactly. The truth is, emotional acknowledgement is the bridge between anger and cooperation. Without that step, even the best solution might fall flat.
So today, we'll walk through 5 strategies to acknowledge emotions first and then move smoothly into problem solving.
Let's kick things off with our first principle: listen first, don't defend.
Right. When a guest is frustrated, we often feel the urge to explain or justify immediately. But interrupting with explanations can sound like excuses.
And that usually escalates anger. Instead,
Mm,
give the guest time to express their frustration fully before you respond.
but don't you think that giving too much time might leave the guest feeling like their issue isn't being addressed quickly?
Good point, Jane. It's a delicate balance. We listen enough so that they feel heard, and then we swiftly move into
Yep.
problem solving. It's all about timing.
By listening without defending, you signal that their voice matters more than your explanation. That creates space for cooperation. Let's test your understanding with our first quiz. Question: Why is it risky to jump into explanations before a guest has finished speaking? A. It shortens the conversation. B. It may come across as making excuses. Or C. It shows efficiency and confidence.
Take a moment to think.
The correct answer is B. It may come across as making excuses. Guests often hear early explanations as defensiveness, which fuels their frustration.
Exactly. Listening fully before responding makes a huge difference. Now, moving on to our second strategy: use empathetic statements.
Once the guest has spoken, acknowledge their feelings with short, sincere phrases. For example, say, I can see why this is upsetting for you. Or, I understand how disappointing this must feel.
Notice that these phrases don't admit fault, they simply validate the emotional experience.
And that validation is powerful. Guests don't just want the problem solved, they want their frustration recognized.
All right, now on to principle three: match emotional urgency without aggression.
This one is subtle but super important. If a guest is really upset and you respond with an overly calm, flat tone, it can feel, um, dismissive.
On the other hand, if you mirror their anger too much, the conflict might only escalate, and
Yeah,
that's definitely not helpful.
the balance is to show urgency and energy in your voice. Let the guest hear that you take this seriously while keeping your tone, controlled.
Then, as the conversation progresses, gradually guide the tone toward calmness.
Time for quiz 2. If a guest is extremely upset, why might responding in a very calm, flat tone right away backfire? A. It can feel dismissive. B. It shows a lack of training. Or C. It encourages the guest to calm down faster.
Quick moment to think.
The correct answer is A. It can feel dismissive. Guests may think you don't care if your tone doesn't match the urgency of their concern.
Exactly. So we need to show urgency while keeping it controlled. Now let's talk about the fourth principle: separate the emotion from the problem.
Here's the reality: emotions are often the bigger barrier to resolution than the actual issue itself.
Absolutely. A guest who feels respected and understood is far more willing to listen to your practical solution.
And the opposite is true. If the emotions aren't addressed, even the most generous solution might not feel satisfying.
That's why acknowledging the feelings first clears the way for collaboration on the fix.
Finally, let's dive into the fifth principle: transition smoothly to problem solving.
Once the emotions have been acknowledged, it's time to shift gears. A great way to do this is by signaling the transition clearly.
For example, you might say, "Now that I understand how this has affected your stay, let's see what we can do to make it right."
That phrasing reassures the guest that their feelings were taken seriously and invites them into the solution process.
Acknowledging emotions doesn't delay the solution, it actually makes the solution acceptable.
Let's wrap up with our final quiz. What's the point of saying, "Now that I understand how this has affected your stay, let's see what we can do to make it right"? A. To change the subject. B. To signal the transition from emotions to solutions. Or C. To avoid taking responsibility.
Take a moment to think.
The correct answer is B. It signals the transition from emotions to solutions. It shows empathy first, then moves towards constructive action.
Exactly. It's the bridge between listening and resolving.
So, let's recap. When a guest is angry, don't rush straight into fixing the issue. Instead, first acknowledge the emotion.
Remember the 5 principles. Listen first without defending, use empathetic statements, match urgency without aggression, separate the emotion from the problem, and finally, transition smoothly to problem solving.
By doing this, you don't just resolve a complaint, you transform conflict into cooperation.
That's the essence of hospitality. Solutions matter, but emotions matter just as much.
Thanks for joining us today. Practice these techniques, and you'll find that many angry moments can turn into opportunities for trust and loyalty.
Until next time, keep listening, keep empathizing, and keep creating positive guest experiences.